Here in Tanzania, we spent 4 days out in the bush living with the Maasai family.
Now, there are tour companies that will set up a Visit the Maasai tour for you. They're fun, but they're set up as tourist attractions. You show up, the Maasai put on a show for you, they dress up your kids, take some photos, and they feed you some barbecue and then send you back to your hotel. That's not what we did. What we did was the real deal.
Our host Caroline was able to set us up with a Maasai family she personally knows that live way out in the bush.
4-hour bus ride out in the bush.
For a truly authentic look at their day-to-day lives. This is our family's story of spending 4 days living with the Maasai.
We are the Culture Trotters!
In late February, we left the States with nothing more than carry-on to become a full-time world-traveling family. 3 weeks in, COVID-19 shut down the world and changed everything. We had quite the adventure writing things out in Mexico. After 7 months, we are finally ready for the next chapter. Click that subscribe button and join us as we continue our journey around the world and head across the ocean to the continent of Africa. In the words of Helen Keller, life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. After a 4-hour wild and crazy bus ride, we were greeted by our host Mika and some of the other men in his family.
We made our way back to the boma, and the women brought out some food for us. Arabella couldn't resist bringing some of the baby goats to dinner.
And they look so cute to hold, so I picked up one of them for my dad, and then went and got another one for me, and we had a little goat meeting.
After our first of many rounds of meat, the men showed us how to make a traditional fire. Let it be noted that the women are inside cooking on a propane burner, so it's not like they couldn't have used a match had they wanted to. They just still prefer to do things the old-fashioned way.
They do a lot of things the old-fashioned way. This also worked out nicely for Alejandra and Arabella, who were able to complete a Cub Scout requirement by helping out. After spotting some antelope, we took a walk to see 2 mines that are on the property that they are hopeful contain valuable gems. The Maasai are just waiting on the government to give them permission to keep digging. We even tried a little hand digging on our own, but no gems.
Just as the sun was going down, we headed back for an evening ritual of bringing the cows and goats in from grazing. We did this every night we were there. Owning cattle is everything to the Maasai. It is their food and their livelihood, and they take great pride in raising them. We were told all cows belong to the Maasai, so if we would kindly just give them all back, they would much appreciate it. After the goats were put away for the night, we got a little taste of some milk straight out of the cow.
It's really good. Alejandro, want to try it? Milk right from the cow. Yeah, they just milk the cow. It's warm because it comes out of the cow warm. Do you like it? Yeah.
Now it's time for the real adventure. The Maasai drink blood. They always have, and it seems they always will. And as their guest, we didn't want to be rude.
There we go. See that? Wow. You see, Alejandro? It says it's good.
I give up.
Bottoms up.
You got it on your shirt too. Mayan pyramids. What do you think? Is it gross or good? It doesn't taste bad.
Look at me and smile.
But it's very thick. It's like, I didn't think it was thick. It's fat, isn't it? Like worms. It's like anything. It's gonna hit him in the face until I get it close. Did you get any? Oh, he's got a stick to stir it up.
Look at me and smile. Look at me and smile. Smile.
It's gelatinous. It's like almost like a jelly. So I was afraid it was just gonna like whack me in the face. So I had to. Does it taste good?
After chugging down some blood and being really sleep deprived, I could not stay up any longer. But the wives were cooking us another meal of meat. I fought as hard as I could to stay awake, but it was literally getting nauseous, and if I ate this food, I was going to throw up. So I just left Robert with 4 servings of food and went right to bed.
There I am sitting there. It's our first night there. Crystal goes to bed. Arabella decides she's not very hungry. Alejandro ate. So I don't want to be rude. I don't want to leave food there. So I ate my meal, Crystal's meal, and most of Arabella's meal. I didn't feel so good.
The next morning, Arabella got up with the sun and rushed out to help the Maasai with their morning goat and cow task.
I headed out this morning, rounded up some cows, and 2 of the ladies invited me into their house, so I did. And they wanted me to take a seat, and they gave me some tea, and they also gave me these little eggplants.
So cool.
The Maasai, men and women, keep their heads shaved, or at least very short. So watching Arabella brush her hair was actually pretty interesting for all the kids.
Oh.
While they have many cultural reasons for shaving their heads, Alejandro discovered a very practical reason to keep your hair short out here in the bush.
Hi, this is I finally getting to second down in this tree.
After everybody was up and ready, it was time to slaughter a goat. Or as they say, to slaughter a goat.
Yep, you heard that right. The Maasai greet guests with an all-day affair of killing, cooking, and preparing a goat. Some raw, some barbecue, and even a goat's head soup. It's such a process that we decided to make it into its own video. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and join us next week if you can stomach it for the goat slaughter.
If you're seeing this a few weeks from now, there'll even be a little tag up there for you.
But in the meantime, let's skip ahead.
What are you guys eating? These
I find this being croutons.
called cashews.
I said next time this being croutons. One for you. One for you. One for you. Come on, for me.
The women had some fun dressing Arabella and I up. They were determined to give me ankle bracelets even if it took all day to get them over my heels. Looks like I'll be wearing these for the rest of my life now.
It's not going back, I'll tell you that.
Pumice stone your heels.
ahead, like other picture. Mom, can you try these on?
Arabella loved being involved in whatever the women and girls were up to.
Oh, look at you. You look so beautiful.
The girls get me all dressed up.
Yeah.
Very cool, bro.
Very cool.
She played with the babies while the women peeled bark to make medicinal tea. She helped collect
You ready?
firewood.
Woo.
She even helped them cook up some more meat.
We all got plenty of lessons on the ins and outs of goat care. Arabella and Alejandro were determined to learn to milk a goat. In the evening, the goat babies were separated from their mothers to allow a milk supply to build up for the morning milking. All the children were tasked with taking the baby goats away at night. It was entertaining, as the baby goats would always get loose. The children would come running back after them. Alejandro developed his own form of positive reinforcement to herd the goats back into their pens at night.
Come on. You do it.
Get around.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on down. You almost there. Now time to do this.
The next day was Sunday, which for this Maasai family means church. Many of the Maasai have converted to Christianity, yet some of them still practice their traditional beliefs, and even a handful of them have converted to Islam. But in our case, we're going to church.
And how did the Maasai get to church? Well, they walked, of course.
While Robert sat with the men outside waiting for the service to start and showing them how to record themselves with a smartphone, I walked the kids over to where the children were gathered. They were quickly invited to participate, even though they had no idea what they were doing. We were all a little scared of the teacher with a switch, who was in no way afraid to use it.
We just so happened to come on a special day. The children were putting on a performance. They even got matching highlighter yellow outfits for the occasion. Then it was time for the performance to start. We were in for a real treat. the songs had been sung, which were quite a few, the children presented the teachers with special thank you gifts. We didn't see it, but Arabella informed us afterwards that the children also gave each teacher a goat.
It seems they can't get enough singing and dancing. This is how the Maasai exit the church. After the service, we were invited over to the men's circle to have sodas and a meal of, you guessed it, meat. This one did come with rice though. It seemed quite often that the men and women hang out separately. Yet as guests, the kids and I seem to always be invited to hang out with the men.
By the time we got back, the sun was setting. After quickly dealing with the cows and goats, the girls taught Arabella and Crystal some of the songs and dances from their performance. Alejandro ran off to play with the boys, and I was happy to play with the youngest and cutest of the family, Mishak. After 4 days of sleeping in a little dirt hut, eating more meat than at a tailgate party, and not having showered or bathed the entire time, we were ready to head home.
We had one more morning chai with our new friends, said goodbye to the cows and the goats, and headed back to town.
Yeah.
It was truly an unforgettable adventure. Be sure to join us next week, if you can stomach it, as we share all the details of a Maasai goat slaughter.